we too can be financially free. All it takes is taking consistent and measured steps, and we will have disposable money and disposable time in due course. This is a long sequence video. We will take up one concept of something that can provide us cash flow. Let us say, in this case, we will take that of an F&O situation using covered calls and build upon it what are all the various nuances that are needed for us to create a financial flywheel. Imagine owning Asian Paint stock not for collecting dividends regularly, but also for earning rent from them every month. Just like putting your flat on Airbnb, this can be designed using covered calls. Most investors in India don't realize this. The exact same covered calls on the National Stock Exchange can give radically different results on a New York Stock Exchange. The lot sizes, fund management, margin rules, taxation, everything is different in both the markets, and hence the outcomes are also different. Sometimes the US markets can be more remunerative compared to that of the Indian market on certain models. In this video, we will look at the nuances that are required for trading in the New York Stock Exchange vis-a-vis that of the National Stock Exchange. The real purpose of these long sequence videos is not to obsess over one particular strategy, which in this case is covered call. It is to determine what a design of a blueprint will look like for helping us navigate towards financial freedom.
What if our Asian Paint shares could pay you rent every single month, just like an apartment? Would you want to know how? If the same covered call strategy on Apple in the US gives us very different results than in India, does that mean Indian investors are leaving money on the table? In just one trade, your stock can go up, go sideways, or even fall. Do you know how a covered call changes the outcome in each of these three scenarios? Here is a fun academic exercise. Let us look for shares that are present in top 50 stocks of Nifty. This will give us a stock that is fairly reliable and that there is a low chance of a downside risk. Let us pick a stock that is not at all-time high. So in that classification, we find Asian Paints as a good candidate. We conduct a similar exercise for the New York Stock Exchange also. And in the Nasdaq index, let us choose a reliable stock. Let us pick Apple. Apple also is not at all-time high. Now let us analyze how we can convert the situation of buying stocks into that of making it available for rent. Today, as on date, when we buy Asian Paint stock, what happens is over a period of time, dividends can get accrued and Asian Paints can pass on the dividends to the owners of the stock. However, what if we do the following? We have 75 shares of Asian Paints. One can pledge it, and with the margin fund that is raised, it is possible for one to sell a call option. Let us say some call option that will expire in like 20 to 25 days. And we choose a strike price of the call option such that the odds of the Asian Paints price to reach that strike price is fairly low, say 20%. We can use Opstra as a tool to help us determine what would be the ideal Asian Paints call option strike price that meets this criteria. Once we sell the call option, then and there we will get the rental income. One can keep on doing this month after month. Assuming Asian Paints stock price is fairly stable, which it generally is, then we have found a clever way of generating rental income apart from the dividends that we earn after pledging it. So this is a way to earn the rental income from Asian Paints. In a similar line, for Apple stocks also, we buy 100 stocks of Apple. Then and there we can also sell a call option of Apple that will be expiring in another 23 to 25 days. We can use First Trade as a broker would also provide tools that will help us determine the strike price for which the odds of Apple settling at the money for that strike price is very low. Again, we can keep the 20% criteria. And we sell a call option. This way, when we do it month after month, we will be able to earn rental income through Apple stocks as well. In India, lot sizes are very unique to each and every stock that is present in F&O. For instance, Asian Paints, it is 75. In the US, the lot sizes are fairly standardized. In general, it is 100.
Also, in India, if we have to pledge a stock, we would need to first buy the stock on day one. The next day, we would need to pledge the stock, and the margin is available on day three. In the US, it is not like that. From the time we acquired the 100 stocks of Apple, it is instantaneously available as margin, provided there is something called as a margin account. Again, there is a nuance. In India, there is also an additional cash component that is needed for us to sell the covered call. In the US, nothing of that sort. The 100 stocks of Apple is sufficient. There is no additional margin that is required. So if you see, global nuances are there between fund planning and then the various kinds of margin accounts that are present for one to trade in the US market. If you would like to know all these nuances and if you have come this far, then probably you are rightly poised for subscribing to this channel. If you could also like it, it will help people like me to guide the content so that such nuances are more brought out. Feel free also to suggest which two stocks you would like to compare. A stock from India vis-a-vis a stock from the US. As the days go by, when we have another long sequence video, we can use those stocks as comparisons.
Most of us think of stocks as something we buy, hold, and wait, maybe for years, until the price goes up. But what if your stocks could pay you a monthly rent just like a house? That's exactly what a covered call does. Here's how it works. First, you already own the stock, say Asian Paints in India or Apple in the US. Then instead of just holding it idle, you rent it out by selling a call option. That call gives someone else the right to buy your stock at a certain price within a certain time. In return, you pocket a premium, meaning you cash that instantaneously the moment the option is sold. So why is it called covered? Because you already own the stock. If the buyer exercises the option, you can immediately deliver it. You are covered. You can contrast this with a naked call where you don't own the shares. That's riskier. So what's the trade-off? If the stock shoots far above the strike price, your upside is capped. You will have to sell the stocks at the agreed price. But if the stock goes sideways or even dips a little, you still get to keep the premium. In short, covered calls are not about predicting the market. They are about turning your stocks into a cash flow machine, collecting rent month after month. Now we set up two covered calls, one in India, one in the US. For Asian Paints, we bought 75 shares at 2537 on September 10th and sold a call option at strike 2660, expiring on September 30th, with more than 80% probability of expiring out of the money. On the same day, in the US, we bought 100 Apple shares at $238 and sold a call option at strike price $250 on October 30 to expire, which also has a probability of 80% of not being breached. Now let's test the setup across three scenarios. When both the markets of US and India for Asian Paints and Apple are flat, they hit the strike price on the day of expiry, and the prices actually tank by 10%. In all three scenarios, the funds invested and premiums collected stay at the same level. What changes is the trader's outcome when events unfold. When we think of it like a house, we have the right mental model. You hold it long term, earn rent each month, and only sell when it makes sense. Covered calls work exactly the same way, and we can see that for Asian Paints as well as Apple. If the stock stays in a channel, you pocket the premium and sell another call, which more or less gives a CAGR of 7.5%, all things being equal. Meaning the volatility index remains the same, there are no new quarterly results that are being announced, and there is nothing specific happening in that particular segment. So both Apple and Asian Paints will retain to give a 7.5% CAGR, approximately ballpark, if the market were to stay in a channel. On the other hand, if the market soars past the strike price, what one should notice is either for Apple or for Asian Paints, the stock gains and option losses offset. So net worth grows only till the strike price. The net worth we observe is similar for both Asian Paints as well as Apple, which is ballpark around 89-90%. The next rental reset will be at a higher strike price, but since everything is being equal, the volatility index and other underlying factors, one can fairly assume that we can expect a CAGR of 7.5%. Now, on the other hand, let us say the stock drops by 10%. So definitely the net worth will drop, and here there is a slight variance between Apple and Asian Paints. Asian Paints, the net worth loss is around 160%, and that of Asian Paints would be 150%. So you wouldn't book a loss at this point in time. However, what would happen is in future when we are going to sell a contract, the call contract for Apple and Asian Paints, we cannot afford to have a strike price that is lower than the price at which we acquired the stock. Because in case we do that and the market were to reach the strike price, then we would effectively book a loss. This would mean that till the time comes where the market does not reach the initial level at which the stock price was bought, the rental yield can go down. Also, this 160%, 150% is in terms of CAGR. In terms of net worth, what would happen is it's only a 10% drop in the price. But in terms of CAGR, one should say that it is around 160%. Okay, with this we have discussed the three possible scenarios for Apple as well as Asian Paints, and we noticed how the structure of a covered call would behave in terms of the US market as well as the Indian market. In the next video, we will cover another nuance of the US market and the Indian market, because ultimately, end of the day, it is not the profit that we make that matters. It is the profit that we keep that matters. So we will discuss the overheads involved in both the markets, either in terms of taxations or brokerages or how the margins are calculated. These aspects we will delve into the next sequence that is coming. Thank you for your time and good luck with all that you're doing.